There are countries that impress travelers the moment they arrive, and then there are countries that reveal themselves gradually, becoming more fascinating with every day spent exploring them. Malaysia often belongs firmly in the second category because many visitors arrive with relatively modest expectations and leave wondering why they waited so long to visit. The country rarely dominates travel headlines in the same way as some of its neighbors, yet it consistently surprises travelers with its diversity, beauty, and ability to offer dramatically different experiences within a single journey. The wonders of Malaysia are not confined to one region, one landscape, or one type of traveler. What makes Malaysia particularly remarkable is the sheer variety available across the country. Within a single trip, travelers can move between futuristic city skylines, ancient rainforests, tropical islands, mountain landscapes, colonial architecture, cultural districts, and some of the most celebrated food destinations in Asia. Every region feels slightly different, creating the sense that multiple destinations exist within one country. This variety often becomes one of the strongest reasons visitors return. Many travelers discover that Malaysia rewards curiosity more than rigid planning. Some of the country's most memorable experiences are not necessarily the ones that dominate social media feeds or travel brochures. Instead, they emerge gradually through exploration, conversations, unexpected discoveries, and the realization that Malaysia often reveals its best side once travelers move beyond the obvious attractions. That quality makes the journey feel more personal and more rewarding. The first wonder on any Malaysian journey is often Kuala Lumpur, a city that manages to feel modern, energetic, and approachable at the same time. First-time visitors are frequently surprised by how quickly they become comfortable navigating the city despite its size and complexity. Modern skyscrapers rise above historic neighborhoods, luxury shopping districts sit alongside vibrant street food areas, and cultures from across Asia intersect in ways that create a uniquely Malaysian atmosphere. The city feels international without losing its local identity. Many travelers arrive expecting the famous skyline to be the highlight, yet what often leaves the strongest impression is the city's diversity. Within a relatively short distance, visitors can experience completely different architectural styles, cultural traditions, and culinary experiences that reflect the country's multicultural foundation. The result is a city that feels alive rather than curated. Kuala Lumpur becomes more interesting the longer travelers spend there. No discussion of Malaysian wonders would be complete without mentioning the Petronas Twin Towers, which remain among the most recognizable landmarks in Asia. Photographs capture their beauty, but standing beneath them often creates a completely different impression because the scale becomes impossible to ignore. Day and night offer entirely different experiences, with the towers transforming as city lights begin illuminating the skyline. They remain one of the country's defining symbols for good reason. Yet Malaysia's appeal extends far beyond its capital. The second wonder is Penang, a destination many experienced travelers describe as one of the most rewarding places to visit in Southeast Asia. Penang combines history, culture, architecture, and food in a way that feels remarkably authentic despite its popularity. Streets lined with colonial-era buildings, colorful murals, traditional businesses, and modern cafes create an environment that encourages exploration rather than rushing. What surprises many visitors about Penang is how easily hours disappear while simply wandering through Georgetown. Every street seems to reveal another detail worth noticing, whether it is architecture, local life, street art, or an unexpected food discovery. Unlike destinations that focus heavily on major attractions, Penang often succeeds because the entire environment feels engaging. The journey between landmarks becomes just as memorable as the landmarks themselves. Food deserves special mention because many travelers consider Penang one of the world's great culinary destinations. Meals become experiences rather than necessities, and visitors quickly discover that some of their favorite dishes come from places they never planned to visit. Local recommendations often lead to memorable discoveries that no itinerary could fully predict. The city rewards curiosity at every turn. The second major shift in perspective often happens here. Travelers who initially viewed Malaysia as a collection of attractions begin realizing that many of the country's greatest experiences involve atmosphere, culture, and daily life rather than famous landmarks. The destination becomes less about checking boxes and more about absorbing experiences. This realization often changes the entire tone of the trip. The third wonder is Langkawi, an island destination that demonstrates why Malaysia continues attracting travelers seeking natural beauty without sacrificing comfort. Crystal clear waters, lush landscapes, dramatic coastlines, and luxury resorts coexist remarkably well across the island. Visitors often arrive expecting beaches and leave talking about scenery, viewpoints, and the overall sense of space that the island provides. Langkawi feels expansive in a way many tropical destinations no longer do. One of the island's most memorable experiences is the Langkawi Sky Bridge, which offers views that frequently appear in travel photography yet still manage to exceed expectations in person. Standing high above the landscape provides a perspective that reveals just how spectacular the surrounding environment truly is. The combination of rainforest, coastline, mountains, and sea creates a panorama that feels almost cinematic. It is one of those rare attractions where the reality often surpasses the photographs. The fourth wonder takes travelers into a completely different environment. The Cameron Highlands offer cooler temperatures, rolling landscapes, tea plantations, and a pace of life that feels dramatically different from the tropical environments many visitors associate with Malaysia. The contrast itself becomes part of the appeal. Few countries allow travelers to experience such different climates and landscapes within a relatively short journey. Visitors often describe the highlands as refreshing not only because of the weather but because of the atmosphere. Green hills stretch into the distance while winding roads connect villages, farms, and plantations that create a landscape unlike anywhere else in the country. The region encourages slower travel and rewards visitors willing to spend time enjoying the scenery rather than rushing through it. It provides a completely different side of Malaysia. The fifth wonder is found in the state of Sabah on the island of Borneo, where nature becomes the dominant attraction. This region introduces travelers to landscapes, wildlife, and ecosystems that feel worlds away from the urban environments of Kuala Lumpur. Ancient rainforests, river systems, and extraordinary biodiversity create experiences that are difficult to replicate elsewhere. For many visitors, Borneo becomes the highlight of the entire journey. One of the most unforgettable sights is Mount Kinabalu, whose presence dominates the surrounding landscape and attracts adventurers from around the world. Even travelers with no intention of climbing the mountain often find themselves captivated by its appearance. The mountain changes character throughout the day as light, weather, and perspective continually transform the view. It feels like a landmark that belongs on a different continent entirely. Around this stage of the journey, many travelers realize that Malaysia's greatest strength may be its diversity. Few destinations offer such a broad range of experiences without requiring international flights between them. Modern cities, colonial heritage, tropical islands, mountain landscapes, and rainforest adventures all exist within the same country. The variety keeps the experience fresh and unpredictable. The sixth wonder is the Perhentian Islands, where many visitors discover the tropical paradise they imagined before arriving in Southeast Asia. Clear waters, vibrant marine life, and a relaxed atmosphere create an experience that feels increasingly rare in heavily developed tourism markets. The islands encourage simplicity, which often becomes part of their appeal. Travelers come for the scenery but often remember the feeling of slowing down. The seventh wonder is Malacca, a city where history becomes visible at nearly every turn. Centuries of trade, exploration, and cultural exchange have shaped a destination unlike any other in Malaysia. Walking through its streets feels like moving through layers of history that remain visible in architecture, traditions, and daily life. The city rewards anyone interested in understanding how Malaysia became the country it is today. The eighth wonder is Taman Negara, one of the oldest rainforests on Earth and a destination that reminds visitors how extraordinary untouched nature can be. The experience here is not about speed or convenience. It is about entering an environment that existed long before modern tourism and allowing the scale of that reality to sink in. Few places create such a powerful sense of perspective. The ninth wonder is the food culture found throughout the country. While not a single location, it deserves inclusion because it consistently ranks among the most memorable parts of any Malaysian journey. Meals connect cultures, regions, traditions, and communities in ways that help travelers understand the country more deeply. Many visitors leave believing the food alone justifies the trip. The 10th and perhaps greatest wonder is how Malaysia consistently exceeds expectations. Travelers often arrive expecting a pleasant destination and leave having discovered one of the most diverse and rewarding countries in Asia. The gap between expectation and reality frequently works in Malaysia's favor because the country delivers experiences that many visitors simply did not anticipate. That ability to surprise remains one of its greatest strengths. The final perspective shift occurs when travelers stop comparing Malaysia with other destinations and begin appreciating it for what it uniquely offers. The country does not need to imitate Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, or anywhere else because its appeal comes from the combination of experiences found nowhere else. Diversity, accessibility, culture, food, nature, and value combine to create something distinctly Malaysian. That is why the wonders of Malaysia continue leaving such a strong impression on travelers who take the time to explore them. From futuristic skylines and historic cities to tropical islands and ancient rainforests, the country offers an extraordinary range of experiences within a single destination. And for many visitors, the most surprising discovery is not a specific landmark or attraction but the realization that Malaysia may be one of Asia's most underrated travel experiences.